Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. Yes, I am still trying to rock Dragonite all the way to legend. I am having mediocre success with it, but I promise you, I don't usually hype up my battles, but this team has brought me so much damn success. If the thumbnail hasn't made it clear by now, this video is all about Venusaur, specifically Venusaur in the back core breaking a lot of teams and having a lot of play. But without further delay, let's get into these battles. Kick back, relax, grab a snack. This is a bit of a long one, and I really hope you enjoy these battles. So the premise of this team is basically an ABB style team where the two mons in the back are potentially weak to fire, and Dragonite can cover that fire weakness pretty well. Biggest caveat of this team: Venusaur is not a safe swap. I repeat, Venusaur is not a safe swap. You'll see why in a few of the battles here. And most of the time what you want to do is you want to oppress with Dragonite, and in this case we're going to stay in the lead because Pidgeot would be horrible for Venusaur. I'm not rocking a Shadow. I think I recommend the regular one. I think overall for this team, regular Venusaur put in a ton of work. Exhibit A right here, everybody and their grandmother is rocking a Poliwrath. If you are fed up with running into this wrath of a mon, then I highly recommend rocking some sort of grass type. I specifically chose Venusaur because Virizion gets easily walled, not easily, but gets pretty walled by what are they called? The fairies. Gets easily walled by fairy types, and you don't want to be ABA weak to fairy on this squad. So I chose Venusaur because it's poison, it's grass, it covers a lot. My opponent swapped out immediately into this Reginald, and I believe that they're rocking ABB Steel. This is our Steel response. So I'm gonna shield. I'm gonna go down a shield, and then I'm gonna come in with Cress. I will say now, even though both the Cresselia and the Venusaur are legacy, and in terms of like the grass knot and the frenzy plant, I believe that for this team specifically, because you are trying to bait out a fire type, I think you want to go with Moonblast Future Sight, which means you don't need to elite TM away any of your moves to get Grass Knot. There were so many times where Future Sight would have came in clutch. This would have been one of them. Future Sight does slightly more respectable damage onto the steel types. It also has the potential to one-hit KO the Poliwrath and the Annihilate. I might be wrong with that. It might be like a few Psycho Cuts too. But as you can see, we're in a bit of a tricky situation here. So I'm gonna swap in immediately onto Dragonite, I believe I do, and go for just a Dragon Claws. At this point of the video, you're probably like, well, this team is incredibly weak to Alolan Sandslash. How do you deal with that? You're also incredibly weak to Galarian Weezing. How do we deal with that? Most of the time we just cry, you know, sit back and pray and hope that the gods throw us a bone, such as is this occasion right here. Clearly, I'm in a bit of a bind. Now, I know that this Ice Punch will do more than the Icy Wind from Poliwrath. I see my switch timer coming back up, which is why I try to catch a move. Luckily for me, I do manage to get to the Moonblast just in time, and because I know this Icy Wind will not threaten a knockout, I'm gonna farm to the back-to-back. I didn't know at the time, but I was hoping that because Swampert wins CMP against Alolan Sandslash, that it would be the case that the other starter, Venusaur, would also win CMP. And luckily for me, that is the case, and we managed to take this game. GG's. I'm pretty sure one of the players that we battle in this, I don't know if I took out the battle, but their in-game name was like 6-year-old boy. And it felt good. I'm not going to finish that sentence. That was going to be kind of sus. Pause. So, Exhibit A right here, or is it C or D, of why you should be rocking Future Sight and not Grass Knot. The fire types are gonna freaking wall you, and you don't want that to happen. We go to 100 energy, which isn't the worst case scenario. You do want to try to optimize your timing, and I believe I am gonna get to another move here. I do, and potentially they're gonna farm me down because they know that they're not gonna get threatened by anything. I don't reach another Future Sight, and by Future Sight I mean Moonblast. And this isn't going to threaten a knockout, but if I had Future Sight, I might have threatened the shield. And at this point, I'm just going to sacrifice Dragonite. It's done its job. It's baited out the fire type. It's put in some work against Tentacruel, And now I believe that I can rely on Venusaur in the back. And what I want to emphasize or stress with this team is that Venusaur in the back has a lot of play. I may not win all of these battles, and that's just because I'm a scrub and I don't know how to play. But what you're going to see from most of these battles is that Venusaur in the back, I'm probably going to say that like 10 or 15 times during this video, is going to have a lot of play in the back. So don't lead Venusaur. You will get completely washed. Do not safe swap Venusaur. You will be completely destroyed. And here comes Verizon Wireless, and we just don't have enough thrusts in these pumps to KO this mon. I think what I should have done is taken the Scald to the face like a man, and hope that that I could survive a sacred sword, and then potentially take out. Oh, there it is, the 6-year-old boy. Let's see how we clap these. All right, I'm gonna pause right there. So we're both leading Dragonite, and I, as you can tell, have a very shit Dragonite. So I'm just gonna let this guy go. It's done its job. They invested a shield, which is even best case scenario for me. Cresselia is a thick tank. She can take most of these moves. So I'm just gonna rely on Cress to farm this thing down. And because they have such a hard response to Venusaur, I'm hoping that Venusaur has, say it with me, some play in the back. So far, so not great. Another scenario where you should be rocking Future Sight and Moonblast and not Grass Knot. Grass Knot, I don't know how many times it has failed me in this particular team comp. There are, again, Venusaur play in the back, if it's not incredibly obvious at this point. So how do you deal with the Florges? This absolute Spice Master is rocking a Florges in the Ultra League, and I respect it. They come in with Charizard, and again, another case where you should be rocking Future Sight. If you learn anything from this video, is don't do what I do, but do as I say. The one scenario where do as I say and not what I do is so telling as to how many battles we probably could have won. The reason I don't have Future Sight and the reason I haven't swapped it out is because you can probably tell this is a shiny Cresselia. It has shit IVs for the Ultra League, but very nice IVs, enough to Elite TM Grass Knot onto it, and I don't have another crest that I'm willing to double move and power up to the Ultra League. So at this point, I'm gonna sack Dragonite. I was hoping I would survive enough. I didn't realize they had this much energy, and I'm gonna trust in Venusaur in the back. If that gets annoying, just like comment it. I apologize, but I'm really hyped about these battles. I really do think, like, for the first time in a long time, I found a mon that seems to core break, say it with me, the back. And the reason I shielded there was because Florges does have access to Psychic. They didn't build up to it here, and I'm going to assume that it was a Swampert in the back, or something that was incredibly weak to Venusaur in the back. All right, this isn't the best case scenario for me, because I could one shield farm down, I believe, because I do tank a move. I go for the Dragon Claw here, and then I'm going to try to catch a Night Slash onto Cresselia. Again, Cress is your sponge. It is your only safe swap. Even when Cress is the better response to whatever mon you're coming into, let's say Galarian Weezing, Cresselia is your safe swap. There is no other mon you're going to safe swap on this specific team composition than Cresselia. Do not be a scrub. Do not be like your boy. Do not swap in Venusaur into a meta that hates Venusaur. Venusaur only works, I'm going to say it one more time and a few more times after this, in the back. Okay, at some point I'm going to stop recording this and like re-record these battles. And you're probably going to see that for the most part, I tend to sack Dragonite and rely on Venusaur. All right, I gotta stop to close out the rest of the battles. So I respect what I thought would have been the aerial ace, but my opponent just went for the one move they were gonna get to, and I am debuffed. However, I was trying to wait for them to throw just so that I wouldn't accidentally throw a move onto their potential sack. We do wait a turn. Even though my move is debuffed, I was going to swap out there, but I saw how much the Frenzy did, and I trusted that this would KO. It does. They have a Greninja. They're building up to the back-to-back. They're at the back-to-back right now. I'm just hoping that they throw. And they do. Luckily for me, it was one of the few times where the person just managed to throw I don't want to say a better battler, but a different battler would have probably waited, but that was my win con, right? That they would throw immediately, and we managed to take that game. This was a pretty tricky lead that I didn't know how to deal with, so I dealt with it as I went. A big reason why I like PvP, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way. First off, if you're enjoying the battles, definitely leave a like and comment and subscribe. But the reason I'm asking this question is because I'm genuinely curious. I tend to yes, the Zigguard. We hate this thing. I tend to think of GBL PvP more so as like a game of chess than an actual just tap your way to legend type game. I don't know how people feel about that. I do think there is so much like technicalness is not a word, but you get my idea, that goes into the PvP aspect. That's one of the reasons why I like battlers like Though Technical, Inadequates, just battlers that understand that this is more than just a tapping game. This game takes a lot of skill, something I am sorely lacking. And right here, what I did was I just saved up a ton of energy. I knew that they might throw as soon as they get to the side strike because Mewtwo is kind of busted. Luckily for me, we both managed to KO each other, and now I have 2 shields to their Annihilate. And again, Venusaur had a lot of play in the back. So I did notice even the misplays, the countless misplays that I made while trying this team. I noticed that this person just wants me to use a shield. They don't want to let me win. I noticed that Venusaur just had a ton of play. Like everybody was so prepared for every other meta mon in the Ultra League that they kind of disregarded grass types. And because I am weak to fairies in the lead, I needed a strong fairy answer in the back. And initially I was using Swampert. No, it's not a strong answer, I know. But I saw that there was just so many Poliwrath, there were so many Annihilates, there were so many fairies. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to try Venusaur, see if anybody respects the grass type. I'm going to use Cress as my pivot to bait out the fire types. And so far, so good. If I don't make it obvious in like the thumbnail or the title, I did hit expert. These aren't those battles. I just wanted to showcase most of the battles I did that day, which was 2 or 3 days ago. And I've been a little lazy about making the videos, which kind of sucks. Here, I'm just going to one shield farm this thing all the way down and hope Venusaur has some play in the back. All right, I got to stop. And I just got really lucky. I got really lucky reading the meta for like the first time in a long time and coming up with an actual pretty decent team for Dragonite. I did try and I say but it's just because like I played so much. My no legendaries budget Master League team in Dragonite Double Steel, and it was doing pretty well. Consistent 3-2s. I'll say that about the team. It's incredibly consistent. My opponent needs to farm me down in order to win here, and that's not gonna happen. But I tried the Ultra League on my girls account with this team, and I saw like I just saw that it was kind of coming in clutch, and I was like, all right, let me try it on my account. And sure enough, I did, and I yo-yoed. I went from 2,500 all the way up to like 2,730, and then dropped down a bit to like 2,700s, and then went back up again to just about reaching expert, and then fell back down again. You see this incredible snipe. I did click on the mon, and the game cucked me. So I don't know if I was like a second too late or half a second too late, a turn too late, but I'm pretty sure I should have been able to swap out, and the game did not allow me. Now I did learn from this, right? Because I figured I don't like that Greedent matchup. Had I gone for Sludge Bomb here, I would have been able to farm down. So don't be like me, be better than me. But the Greedent matchup, you tank 2 body slams, then go for the sauce. Go for the superpower. Hope they don't shield. Half times they do shield, half times they don't shield. It's kind of a bit shit. I wasn't sure if Grass Knot would have KO'd here, so I did go for the Moonblast. And I have to bait here. Like, I need to rely on Venusaur, which isn't going to happen. Giratina is one of the biggest reasons why you don't swap Venusaur as a safe swap. You get completely walled. There is no shield scenario where you win unless they don't shield. And they can farm up a boatload of energy, which is horrible for Dragonite. So I do successfully manage to bait once. They're out of shields, but I just don't have enough gas in the tank, enough thrusts in these pumps to take out the big China. And we're gonna go down JJ's. I do try to farm up some more, but I didn't realize how much energy they had. I think yeah, I was one away and they already had the back-to-back. Maybe like potentially, you know, I made it pretty close, but yeah, no, I was just a little too far away. Even if I did land that and it didn't KO, they would have had to move for the crest. So I left this battle in because this is kind of hilarious. Every monk that I play against has baited me, so I was like, all right, whatever, you know, like I'll call the acid spray bait. Does this madman bait me? He does not bait me. He just KOs my freaking Dragonite, and now I have a muck against a Cress and a Venu. This is not looking too good. But what I decide is, all right, I'm just gonna trust in Crest to get off some Moonblast. I will shield because I don't see them baiting me. And I'm gonna go for the Moonblast and see what they do. If they shield, I will keep overfarming and tank a Dark Pulse, which is why I don't CMP here. But my opponent thought I was. And they bring in Venu and, Swampert. And I potentially could have swapped out here, but I was more afraid of Venu then getting walled by the muck. So I said, all right, you know what? They're clearly weak to grass, is my assumption. And the madman comes back in with Jellicent. And I was like, oh man, I was totally expecting the muck. I thought I was going to CMP with him. And now what I have to do is I have to shield what I believe to be the harder hitting move, which is the Shadow Ball. Do I successfully shield it? We do. And then I know they're going to combo play me with the muck, and I just need to take out this muck and hope that I have enough in the tank to take out what's left of that jelly. And to be honest with you, I wasn't too sure I was going to be able to, because I need to get this move off right away before they reach an acid spray, which would be kind of shit. Luckily for us, we do. And I'm like, damn, if they make it to the Shadow Ball, I don't think they'll make it. They make it to a move, and I don't know what it is, but I know I might not survive it, but I do. A scenario where IVs definitely matter. Most of my Ultra League mons are kind of shit, specifically these Dragonite and Cresselia. But I don't really have a good Venu. Another Core Breaker. What do? I swap into Venusaur like a scrub, and I am met by Giratina. Do not swap Venusaur as a safe swap in the Ultra League. Had I come in with Cress, even if yes, I am cucked, they might have done the same thing, but then Cress would have had play against Giratina. I could have gotten a shield, and maybe, and say it with me, Venusaur might have had some play in the back. I'll never know because I top left way too quickly. I come back in with Venu to kind of just force them to dump some energy, and they do. But at this point, I'm noticing like I don't have future sight. If I did, I might have played it out. I also suck at counting Fairy Wind. Like I can't really see the animation and know when to throw in between their move. So it might have still been kind of dog shit. I go for a few extra Dragon Breath just on the off chance that they decide not to throw on alignment or at CMP or cap, as some people are calling it. And because they swapped out without throwing any energy, I know they have Thunder Punch, which is great. This is one of the reasons why you need Moonblast, but you should be rocking Future Sight in my opinion. I think it does much better in this specific team composition. And I think we actually flipped this, like 0 shields. They've invested a shield, but it's on the Ampharos, and they're down a shield, so I don't expect them to shield my next move, and I do survive. So we go for it. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever, you know, we either get 2 shields or we take the knockout. And the only thing that's kind of scuffed here is I know they're going to get a big juicy farm, which sucks. But again, we're going to rely on Venusaur in the back. And they're rocking Thunder Punch because of course they are, which kind of sucks. And so I trust in Venu. I tank a move hoping this is the Thunder Punch. Is it? It's not. They actually have Brutal Swing. So they could have thrown energy and made that match against Mandibuzz that much better, especially since they were down a shield, but they didn't. So that caught me completely off guard. But now we have the alignment that we want. I just need to farm up basically to a CMP and hope that this KOs. Spoiler alert, it does. And then Ampharos comes back in and my opponent sees the writing on the wall, as they say, as Home Slice Henry says. And then what do we do against a Core Breaker? So what I have learned from this particular matchup is, yes, I know we are core broken by Alolan Sandslash. What my plan is, what I've seen from PV Poke, is I'm just going to play the 2 shields. I'm going to lose. I'm 100% I'm going to lose. But I'm going to get it into a range where it will be much more manageable for Cress. And then we're going to trust in Venu in the back. However, my opponent is an absolute savage and a madman. He decides to call the freaking superpower. What an absolute legend, man. May your travels up to the hierarchy be ever greater for having such big, massive balls. I couldn't believe it. So now I'm kind of screwed. I'm down 2 shields. Can I pull anything out of my behind? I don't know. I'm gonna come in with Dragonite and sack it and trust in Venu in the back. Just to see if I had any play. Did I have any play? No. In this particular situation, I was completely countered as Burke. So yeah, that kind of blew. That game I probably wouldn't have won regardless of how I played it, but I should have gone for the superpower. If I go for the superpower, I'm still gonna play out the 2s. I don't know if I'll survive that many Shadow Claws, so maybe I'll just, play out the 1s. But yeah, you need that Dragon Breath damage. Here I decide I have 2 better responses in the back, so I'll tank a move, build up a ton of energy, see what they have in the back. They're building up energy, and what do they have? A Reggie. Now, the Swamp did leave with a move, so I need to be aware of that, and I do make a bit of a misplay, as you're gonna see. Here's another situation where Future Sight does just ever slightly more damage because it is same type of attack bonus, and Future Sight is a really strong move. It's not exactly busted, it's just really strong on Cress, who hits like a wet noodle. My timer is coming up. I'm already debuff. Oh man, I throw the move. I should have swapped out. I think I was just afraid that Reggie would take me out immediately, so I wanted to get some damage off of it. Now our timers are aligned again, and I should be expecting that. So I swap out, they swap in, but I go for it just a little too late. I did click the superpower, and I'm just gonna farm up to just before they reach their both Hydro Cannons and force them to shield these moves. Luckily for me, they shield the first one, and then they realize that I'm at the next one, and I think they just let this go. And again, I'm gonna trust in Venu in the back. But that was a pretty hard response. That wasn't the hardest response to a Venusaur. In the back, I'm expecting another fire type, and I just need to get shields down. Dragonite has done its job. I'm gonna trust that up a shield, I may be able to have some play. So I come in with Venu. I do wait out my switch timer just in case I need to make a catch, and I'm gonna farm up. I am not threatened by the Registeel, but I am threatened by that fire type in the back. Luckily for me, it happens to be a Shadow Zard, which is great. Knowing my opponent, they're probably gonna throw on CMP, and I managed to catch it on Cresselia, and I can do a little more damage because I'm gonna have to shield one of the Zap Cannons anyway. So I'd much rather just take the wing attack damage and get a little bit more farm. I didn't think a Frenzy would KO from there, and now I have to hope that I can beat or outpace the Reggie to back-to-back moves. Oh no, this wasn't the case. But I did get debuffed, but I saw how much health the Reggie had, and I knew that a one Frenzy plant would KO. I think this is the last battle, and I left it in. Oh, there's 2 battles left. I left this one in because you're gonna see how much of a scrub your boy is. If you didn't know already, well, now you know. I think, okay, so they attempt the catch. I wait way too long, and I could have sworn when I was counting that they weren't at 11. I would have bet not only my life, but the life of my loved ones. And I was like, nah, this is 10. No, shield. It's like I haven't learned. Just shield, man. There was, had I shielded, I would have had so many more plays. So many more. Also, this team is core broken by Future Sight Cresselia. So, Another lesson of why you should be rocking Future Sight. But I completely miscounted. I trusted in myself, and like a fool, I threw it. I completely threw it. I think they come in with if it's a Reggie, it's a Skeleturge. I know I have like no play. I let in a full Incinerate like a scrub, and I just know like this is GG's. I can hardly done anything. Another Greedent. Do I have Redemption? This is for sure the last battle. So what I plan on doing is tanking 2 body slams. Man, this thing is such a thick little squirrel, and these body slams hurt, man. Like, I know it gets same type of attack bonus, but like, goddamn. And what do? I'm gonna get sniped. I learned from my last snipe, but unfortunately, I just tapped the closest mon, which happened to be Venu, and shortly after this battle, instead of having Venusaur at the bottom, I put it in the middle and had Cresselia at the bottom because it's the closest mon you can reach with your thumb immediately. And again, Cresselia is your safe swap. Here's me getting expert as proof since I couldn't showcase these battles. I really do think this team is strong. Could you swap out Dragonite for something else? Absolutely. But like I said in my previous videos, I'm trying to hit Legend this season with a form of Dragonite. Be it Dragonair as a last resort, or Dragonite in the Master League also as kind of a last resort. But I really do hope that you guys enjoy these battles, and like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll catch you in the next video.